Right now, the most valuable food system you own isn't in your raised beds, your greenhouse, or your carefully planned rows. It's already growing, uninvited, unwatered, and completely ignored. For decades, we've been trained to see certain plants as enemies. We pull them, poison them, and spend money trying to erase them from our landscapes. But what if that entire mindset is backwards? What if the plants you've been fighting are actually more resilient, more nutritious, and more historically important than the crops you're trying so hard to grow? Across centuries, long before modern agriculture and seed catalogs, people depended on these exact plants for survival, not as a backup plan, but as a primary food source. These weeds fed communities through famine, filled nutritional gaps in harsh climates, and required absolutely no inputs, no irrigation systems, no fertilizers, no careful soil prep, just growth, relentless and dependable. If you're serious about understanding how humans actually fed themselves before industrial agriculture, this is where the story gets real. And if you're building a garden today, ignoring these plants isn't just a missed opportunity, it's a fundamental mistake. Before we go further, take a second to support the channel. Like the video, share it with someone who's still fighting their lawn, drop a comment with what's growing wild in your space, and subscribe to Nature's Flora for more deep dives into forgotten food systems and natural resilience. Now, let's get into it. What we call weeds today were often intentional crops just a few generations ago. Dandelion is one of the clearest examples. European settlers didn't accidentally bring it across continents. It was transported deliberately as a food and medicinal plant. Every part of it was used: leaves for greens, roots for tonic and roasted beverages, flowers for food and fermentation. The shift from crop to weed didn't happen because the plant changed. It happened because our priorities did. As industrial agriculture expanded, uniformity became more valuable than resilience. Plants that didn't fit neat rows or controlled systems were pushed out, regardless of their nutritional value. That same story repeats across nearly every plant on this list. Purslane stands out as one of the most nutritionally unique wild plants on Earth. It provides omega-3 fatty acids in amounts rarely found in land-based plants. Historically, cultures in the Mediterranean and Middle East didn't just tolerate purslane, they cultivated it. It thrived in heat and drought, making it dependable where other crops failed. Lamb's quarters tells a similar story, especially in North America. Indigenous communities cultivated it for both its leaves and seeds, long before quinoa became a global commodity. Its seeds function as a grain, while the leaves offer protein and micronutrients that, honestly, rival or even exceed many cultivated greens. These plants weren't fallback options. They were core components of functioning food systems. Food and medicine were never separate in traditional systems. Wood sorrel, often mistaken for clover, provided a natural source of vitamin C, critical in preventing deficiency diseases like scurvy. Its sharp, citrus-like flavor made it both functional and, really desirable. Clover itself played a dual role. While improving soil through nitrogen fixation, it also offered edible flowers used in herbal traditions for generations. Red clover, in particular, has a long history in supporting overall wellness, especially in traditional European practices. What's important here isn't just that these plants are edible. It's that they operate on multiple levels at once, feeding both the body and the soil. Modern gardening often treats soil as something to be managed externally. Fertilizers are added, nutrients are calculated, and, systems are built to maintain balance. But plants like clover quietly do this work on their own. By fixing nitrogen from the atmosphere, clover enriches the soil continuously. Historically, farmers relied on it to restore depleted land. It wasn't optional, it was essential. Today, though, it's often mowed down or removed entirely, replaced by synthetic inputs that replicate what the plant was already doing for free. This is where the deeper lesson starts to emerge. These plants don't just survive without human intervention. They actively improve the environments they grow in. One of the biggest vulnerabilities in any food system is timing. Late winter and early spring have always been the most dangerous periods, when stored food runs low and new crops haven't yet matured. Chickweed fills that gap perfectly. It grows in cold conditions when most cultivated plants cannot. Historically, this made it invaluable. Fresh greens at the end of winter weren't just a convenience. They were a necessity. By the time traditional garden crops are ready, chickweed has already completed its cycle. It doesn't compete. It complements. When you step back, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. These plants require no planting, no maintenance, and no protection. They return every year, adapt to changing conditions, and provide a wide range of nutrients that most gardens struggle to match without careful planning. What we've been calling weeds are actually a parallel food system, one that operates independently of human control. It's decentralized, resilient, and nearly impossible to eliminate. The real opportunity isn't to replace your garden with these plants. It's to integrate them. Let them grow where they naturally thrive. Harvest them when they're at their best. Allow them to fill the nutritional and seasonal gaps that cultivated crops leave behind. This is how historical food systems worked. Not through strict control, but through cooperation with what was already present. Understanding these plants changes more than just how you garden. It challenges the idea that food must be purchased, planted, and managed to have value. It reveals that abundance often exists in places we've been taught to ignore, and it raises a simple question. If these plants have always been here, always growing, always returning, why have we spent so much effort trying to destroy them? If this perspective shifts how you see your yard, your garden, or even your local landscape, then you're starting to see what earlier generations already understood. Subscribe to Nature's Flora for more insights like this. Share this with someone who needs to rethink their lawn, and drop a comment about which of these plants you've already seen growing near you.